This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, welcome everybody. It is Tuesday night on the 13th of May. It's been a while since I've been to the May session because I had my dance recital, but now I am back. So let's go ahead and do introductions. My name is Kim. I have relapsing remitting diagnosed in 2012. Currently in Des Moines, Iowa, and I actually do need some time tonight. So I will put that out there. We'll go ahead and welcome John and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm John. I'm from Mid-Michigan. I was diagnosed in 2016 with relapsing remitting. Yeah, I'll need some time. Oh, I'm on Zeposia. That's the medicine that I take.
Oh, I forgot. I'm on ocrevus. See, I'm already my brain's already glitching because I'm getting tired.
Yep. Yeah,
Lena,
I'll
we
need a little
joke.
bit of time.
I always joke like, why is the moderator the one that has the cognition issues? Why is that the one that's moderating?
It's seriously annoying.
We just go with it.
If dysfunction is so bad, then why I am an executive of it?
True.
Yeah, executive dysfunction.
Okay. Well, thank you. And let's go on to new person, Lena. Welcome. Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Lena. I'm from LA. I have RRMS, and I'm going for my first infusion tomorrow for ocrevus.
Okay.
My first one.
Do you have any questions later about that? We can tell you about that. We can tell you all about
I want to know all about it.
Okay.
Lena, where do you live in LA?
I live in Encino.
Shut up!
Where are you?
Stern Oaks.
Oh, you're next door.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Alyssa's kind of on the newish side, so I totally forgot that she's from California too when we were talking earlier. So
like totally for sure, Kim. Come on.
Did we just talk about the cognition issues like literally 30 seconds ago?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Alyssa, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Alyssa. I have relapsing remitting MS. I was diagnosed in 2000. I am now on my 8th medication, Mavenclad, and I just did my first 5 days. And I have a UTI, unfortunately. Yeah. And I'm doing my next 5 days on the 20th of May. And yeah, I'll take some time to talk today.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. And then Corey, last but not least, Corey's not always with us all the time, but we're glad when he comes and joins us. Welcome, introduce yourself.
Hi, how you doing? My name's Corey. I'm from Indiana. I've got relapsing remitting MS. I diagnosed in 2021. I take ocrevus, and yeah, I need some time tonight.
Okay. Since we all need some time tonight, is anyone like super pressing and want to start off?
Start off.
I just want to say, Alyssa, the last time I saw you, you had the Mavenclad, but you were really scared about taking it. And so to hear that you took it, I was really excited to hear that you took that step. What got you to that point to be comfortable to take the pills?
I actually spoke to Dr. Sykott, my neurologist, nurse practitioner, Laura, and because what it was is I had actually asked Dr. Sykott about it. A few months ago, my occupational therapist had told me about Selma Blair and what she was taking, and it was Mavenclad. And when I spoke to Dr. Sykott or Laura, they're like, "No, it's not. It's not gonna work for you." And I'm like, "Okay." And then months later, now that I wasn't taking ocrevus anymore, they're like, "Yeah, take Mavenclad." And I'm like, "What? What happened?" And I guess it's because people who do not respond well with the B cell depletion as well, Mavenclad was the next step. So because it was confirmed that it was really going to be good for me, I was like, "Oh, okay, let's do it."
And have you noticed any side effects besides the UTI may or may not be related to the Mavenclad?
Well, I had headaches. And I mean, again, the weather in California right now is nuts,
Mm.
and it's messed with my sinuses. So I mean, it just, I don't know. It could also be psychosocial.
Your doctor is at Cedar Sinai, right?
Correct. My doctor is Nancy Sykott.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like a famous hospital name that I recognize.
A what?
That's where all the
Famous-
celebrities go. Cedar
That's where
Sinai.
the celebrities go.
It's true.
Well, she was actually at UCLA first. And because UCLA is a college and they don't have their doctors doing continued care with their patients because it's educational hospital basically. So Dr. Sykott moved to Cedar Sinai to get more patients, and now she's the head of neurology there.
Okay. Good.
So
Oh, I forgot to say I was diagnosed in 1998.
Oh, you've been diagnosed for a while.
You
So I
know,
went straight on homeopathic medication for like 20 years. And
Mhm.
then I started getting worse, and I did HSCT in Mexico.
Oh, what'd you
I
think
did-
of that?
I it's been 2.5 years and nothing has really changed.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's fine. I met new people. It's fine. That's great. I met my aunt with me, and it was just it was nice to do. I think for to do was great for me. I liked it. But I was hoping it would have more like I'd be able to walk without a walker and I don't know, run or something. But no, no, nothing happened.
So you don't feel like it like reduced any of your symptoms?
It reduced my bladder. I stopped my bladder medication. I stopped my spasms, like spasms. I stopped that,
Mhm.
and but everything came right back. So now spasms are back, bladder issues are back, everything's back.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Tina, since you live in Encino, who's your doctor?
Dr. Geyser, she's in Santa Monica.
Oh, she's still practicing?
Yeah, still
I
practicing.
adore Dr. Geyser.
what a
She's
small city Los Angeles really is, isn't it?
yeah,
Well,
MS is kind of a
also
small
the fact
community.
that
yes.
it's also the fact that my neurologist is Dr. Sykott, who is known the whole country. And I used to be a patient advocate for Jelinia, so I would go and speak for a bunch of different doctors. So, I mean, I knew a bunch of doctors because of that.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah.
Alyssa, did you have anything else you wanted to share? I know we've been kind of bouncing around a little bit.
No, not really. I mean, started Mavenclad, pretty cool. It's amazing how it went from when I was diagnosed or when Lena was diagnosed to there being only ABC drugs to God knows how many now.
It's true.
740.
And what'd you say, John?
I said 741.
Okay.
It's a little bit on the high side.
I thought it was only 740.
New data.
But no, I mean, yeah. I'm good. I just wanted to talk for a minute, and I appreciate you guys listening.
You know, I did Mavenclad only for a month before I went to Mexico. For the month, it was fine, but I didn't get back on it when I came back from Mexico. So
Really?
yeah,
How
I
did
didn't do
you
anything.
how did you end up deciding to get on to doing your first ocrevus infusion?
You know, I was just so I started reading a lot, and sometimes it's not a good thing, but I was reading, and I like this was for me. I think this is gonna work, and Kesimpta I took, and that did not work for me, and I have a feeling this will. So fingers crossed, everything goes well.
Did you have any questions about ocrevus because you've got Alyssa, were you ever on that? You were on that. Yeah, you were.
I was.
Corey's on it. I'm on it. I don't think John, you've been. You were. Were you not a Baggio? Were you a Baggio? No.
I've always been 1 day pill. So it's been Zeposia as long as you guys have known me.
Zeposia. Okay. Like I said, there's too many walking around. Yeah. So, did you have any questions at all or anything about ocrevus?
I'm just really excited to go tomorrow. I'm just to be on something is going to be great. So I'm looking forward to it. So
there's your other Californian. We got 3 of you guys tonight.
Oh my gosh, Karen.
Welcome, Karen. Introduce yourself, please.
I hope it's the same Karen that we've always known. I miss her.
She's on mute.
Give me a minute. I mean, I had a hard time logging in, so I'm not ready. I have to update my calendar. See you in a little bit.
Okay. The only thing my only recommendation to you for Lena for the ocrevus is that I don't notice anything with the ocrevus. It's the side effect of the steroid. So I'm assuming you've had big steroid doses in the past, the Solumedrol, or have you had before?
When I got diagnosed, I didn't have anything, nothing. Okay. I took nothing, and then I started taking something when lockdown happened. It was using a cane, and I was like, okay, so I need to figure this out. Selma Blair, when I was looking at her video that she had, biography, that's when I said, okay, I'm going to go and do this. Because it's not available here, but it's available in Mexico. So I just did that.
Yeah. The major side effect I've had is that I have a hard time sleeping for a week because the steroid seems to last in my body for a week. So I always have to try to take something for sleep or something like that. And sometimes it's like, when I first did it, kind of felt like my wheels were spinning in place because I was stimulated, and I kind of got the munchies a little bit, but then the munchies, I don't experience that anymore, but.
Okay. But overall, it was fine. It was a good experience.
Yeah, I've never had any major side effects. How about you, Corey, Alyssa? Did you have any?
Because of the B cell depleter, I got COVID twice and pneumonia. And when I took my RSV shot, it messed me up for like 5 days.
Ooh.
And I would get infection, I would get UTI infection after infection after infection. Just the B cell depletion and depression. But the B cell depletion just did not work with me.
Speaking of vaccinations, my neurologist said to take vaccinations a month before you have your infusion. That's why, so your B cells are as high as they can be. Because if you try to do a vaccination after the infusion, you just killed your B cells, and then your body doesn't have the B cells to create a response to the vaccination. So just heads up on that. So I have to time my vaccinations to do the month before. And then Corey, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I've never had no side effects to it. I mean, you just got to sit in there for 7 hours, or it sucks.
Yeah. Bring something to do. What I love to do. I'm assuming you're going to an infusion center of some sort.
Yeah, that's where I go.
I like to bring an extension cord so I can plug it into the wall, and then I can plug my cell phone charger so I don't have to worry about running out of juice. Because usually the outlet is like somewhere far away, so I like to do that.
I'll never forget the first time I ever had it. Back in 2021, there was red lettering on the bag and it said high alert, and I just, people kept going into that infusion place. They'd be in there for 20 minutes, they'd be in there for 30 minutes, they'd be in there for 45 minutes, 20 minutes, they'd leave. And I asked that lady, I said, is this the same stuff that they use for execution? Because I'm wondering, why in the hell am I still here? And she told me, she said, no, she said, it's just a high dosage of medicine, and you got to be here for 6 hours and then an hour after. for side effects, or whatever, which luckily I have never had no side effects. So,
That's great.
yeah, it just makes it a long day,
Yeah.
And they did speed up the infusion rate, Lena. So when you first do it, they might do it slow. If you don't have reaction, then they might speed it up for you. Then 2 weeks later, when you get the second half dose.
Okay.
No, because when I originally started, it was literally all day, and now it's for me it's been sped up because I haven't had any issues. So, but we hope you have a great infusion. When is it?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. What time do you have to be there?
9 o'clock.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
8 o'clock.
fun.
8 o'clock. Do that by 8
Well,
a.m.
I hope you have a great day. If you just take it easy and enjoy it. I try to think I'm at a spa or something.
Make sure
Bring.
you have something to eat.
Oh, did they not? They fed me at. They feed me at my infusion center. They don't feed you. They don't feed you guys.
Well, they give me snacks at mine at Cedars. They
Okay.
give you snacks.
Does this infusion give you like a bad taste in your mouth, like steroid
A
infusion?
metal taste or something. I know sometimes
Yeah.
people with the steroid they'll get like a metal taste.
Lena,
but-
take something.
Yeah,
like,
it does. The steroid part does.
okay.
I didn't notice it, but I know that some people have the problem with metallic taste in their mouth.
Yeah, Cymetral really gave me metallic taste. I ate those bentos.
Mm.
They helped me a lot. But
Mm.
I need something.
I hope.
Thank you for reminding me. I'm bringing it tomorrow. I'll add it to my.
Yeah, and anything that keeps you. I bring a jigsaw puzzle with me. I bring books to read. I'll like load up my cell phone with a bunch of downloaded stuff. So if I need to, and bring earphones if I want to. Sometimes infusion centers will have like people will be like listening to TVs. I'm like, I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen to that. So
I know what else I had problems with was I would have an allergic reaction and my ears would start to itch. Like as if because I'm allergic to walnuts and pecans, so it's like that kind of allergic reaction. So they would just give me more Benadryl and I go back to sleep some more.
yeah, some people get really tired of their infusion during the Benadryl, but to me the steroid definitely was more powerful than the Benadryl.
I mean, you
Like
guys.
a little bit of steroid though.
250 milligrams isn't little. It's not a little bit.
How
It's
do you
way
get that?
bigger than what you get over
Maybe
the
mine
counter.
was smaller.
I mean, like,
Mine
so,
wasn't like a bag.
yeah, mine's like a bag that takes about an hour.
Oh yeah, no. The steroid that I would get was like they would take like a little they would just shoot it into my vein. It was a little bit.
Interesting.
Huh.
No,
Every doctor is
mine's a
different.
bag, and then they have to cover the bag with like something because it's sensitive to light, and then
Yep.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because see, when you normally get a dose, like if you have like a flare and they want to do like a 5-day solumedrol, it's usually like 1,000 milligrams.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
for the ocrevus, it's a quarter of that, so 250 milligrams. So, but to me, that's still woo. It affects me. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Did you say you take 250 milligrams, Kim?
that's of the steroid, the solumedrol.
Oh, okay. What do you take on the ocrevus?
It's 600. That's their full dose.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what I am. Hey, question to ask you. On your ocrevus, does it cause you to have, do you have problems walking?
No, but I don't usually have problems walking to begin with, unless I'm
Okay.
super tired. But that could be changing here in the near future with my crazy last week. So we'll see about that. But
Because it seems to be giving me so many problems walking.
okay, I don't know if that's the medication itself or just your MS in general. It's kind of hard to. Have you told your neurologist that?
Yeah, she won't listen. I mean, I've heard so many stories about the ocrevus. My wife, she's on a MS website or a thing, and people tell her about the ocrevus that ocrevus was good, but it caused walking problems, and they've switched to that Kesimpta, and it seems to help out better. Well, I sent a message to my neurologist. She's telling me that ocrevus will not do that. She said Kesimpta is the same as ocrevus, except for Kesimpta is a monthly thing, and ocrevus is an every 6-month thing. So, like I said, she's not really giving me any answers.
Everybody wants right up the nose. She's against it.
Every time I want to try something, I make a suggestion or whatever, she's against it. So I'm not real sure what to do.
Okay. I guess my question is, when you're having problems walking, is that something that happens immediately after you get the infusion and then it gets better, or can you explain more about that?
Oh no, it's every day. It's every day. Every day, all day.
Okay.
I mean,
So
I'm just.
it doesn't seem to get better
No,
with time from
no,
the infusion. It doesn't get worse right after the infusion or anything like that.
no,
Okay.
no. I'm so off balance. I have no more equilibrium at all. I mean, every time I take a step, I cannot believe I haven't fallen. But like I said, my walking is out of control right now. I just can't, I just have such a hard time walking and getting around anymore. I mean, today, I'm a little pissed off, but today my doctor, my family doctor, she took me off work. So now I'm done with work, or, right now. So I got to go through this whole bullshit of short-term disability. They're going to give me $250 a week. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with that, but I'm disappointed because, like I said, that that was my way of living, to make money, and now I'm screwed. And then of course, in January, when I was kind of trying to be proactive, through the disability thing, just asking questions, they're telling me, well, it could take 18 months, before you hear something on that. Well, she said, well, they pay you back pay. I said, well, what the hell does that matter? I don't give a shit that somebody's going to pay me back pay. I could care less about that. What the hell does that do for the 18 months prior to? I mean, I told them people, I said, so is the only way that you can file disability is you have to either be a millionaire or you have to have another person working income? And she said, correct. I mean, pretty much. I mean, that's it. I mean, to have another income, because you can't just go 18 months without paying your bills. Like I told her, I said, do I call Wells Fargo and tell them, hey, I can pay you in 18 months? And she said, well, I can't tell you what to do there. I said, well, I can tell you exactly what the hell they're going to say. That's too bad. Like I said, that you got to pay your monthly bills. And if you don't have money coming in to pay your monthly bills, you're screwed. So, like I said, I'm just kind of, with the whole bullshit today, the doctor putting me off work, I've just kind of been, I'm just kind of beside myself right now. I just don't know what the hell to do.
Corey, let me give you a little push. You can work and make as much money as you want to make while you're trying to get your disability.
Not true.
Then they will pay you back pay once you get approved.
Not true.
It's not? It was when I got it.
Nope.
Can't make over $1,200.
$1,200 a month.
Well, then things definitely have changed since I got mine in 2008.
Yep, they've changed.
Yeah, they've changed.
I talked to them in January, and they said you can only make $1,200 a month. I was like, well, how the hell's that work? I mean, I'm not going to be able to do that.
They increased the amount that you can make monthly every year a little bit, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it is definitely broken, Corey, where there's a big gap on when you could potentially get your Social Security and be qualified for disability. And it's like, what are you supposed to do if you don't have a working spouse, or you don't have like a big nest egg that you can,
Sure, absolutely.
plug into? So absolutely, they're and I don't know the answer for you. I wish I had a really easy answer I could give you. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Like I said, my wife, she's you know, she's disabled. I mean, my wife's, you know, her knees, she's been disabled, you know, since she's been 16 years old. So, like I said, she gets $1,000 a month, you know,
Mm,
which, like I said, that pays 3 bills. But
right.
like I said, you know, I'm pretty much screwed, you know, waiting to see what the hell is going to happen. You know, I don't know. I don't know what the hell to do.
Yeah. My recommendation, not everyone takes it. I would recommend you get a lawyer to help you do the disability stuff, and then you can ask them a bunch of those questions that you have. And most lawyers, they will give you a free consultation too. So you can ask them all those questions about what do I do? What's your recommendation? You know, how do I survive? My wife has been disabled since she's 16, so obviously she's not going to be able to
Yeah.
go back to work or anything like that.
Go for a full hip replacement.
Yeah, she goes in for a full hip replacement next week.
Hmm. I don't know if there's a way that you can get eligible for Medicaid. I have no clue in your state.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Like I said, right now I'm on that, you know, with that short-term disability thing through the Teamsters. They're, you know, my insurance is still good for, you know, 6 months. Um, so like I said, my insurance, you know, is still good, you know, for now. So I'm just, you know, I'll continue to use that insurance. But that's a little bit of what I wanted to bitch and moan about tonight.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about tonight too, Corey?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're taking off work. When you're walking, are you using a cane or a walker?
No, I can't because if I use a cane or a walker, I lose my CDL.
CDL. Oh, but can you use it, I guess, while you're on short-term disability, can you use it while you're like, do you use it in the house so to prevent a fall? That's what I'm asking for.
Yeah, no, I remember probably a couple years ago, I got admitted in the hospital. I had an MS flare up, and I remember being up there in the hospital, and I remember a physical therapy guy coming up there and, you know, showing me how to use a cane or, you know, whatever, and I was walking with it, and he said, "Yeah, you walk better without it," because I was just about ready. I about fell all over the place using that cane because couldn't figure that out. So I
It
usually
might,
just use the wall.
okay, because it might change now with time, and if your walking has changed since you saw that person.
That's true. That's true.
Hmm. I would, I'm just have a concern that I don't want you to have all these issues and on top of it have a fall where you injure yourself and then you're in even worse situation.
Yeah, I know.
He's
And then
stubborn.
and then especially if you currently have insurance for 6 months, if you could go see physical therapy or occupational therapy or
Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot. I got a lot to start doing, so I got to figure it out.
and then I don't know if there's any way, I mean, are you having any cognition issues or is it more just with the walking?
Oh, what do you mean, Kim?
Like, do you feel like you could still work a job where you're not, because obviously when you're driving a semi
Yeah.
truck, there are lots of different layers that you have to be able to do. Um, but if you were in a job that you could like not be driving a truck, but you like, are you going
Yeah.
to have problems with fatigue or cognition issues? Is that also a factor for you, or is it
Well,
more mobility issues?
another problem, Kim, I have is I'm so all day long, I am so dizzy. I
Okay.
mean, I'm so dizzy and off balance. I
Hmm.
mean, it's out of control, you know.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm just constantly, you know, my head's back and forth, you know. I'm just trying to.
Okay. And
So,
then when you saw your doctor today, are they doing anything to try to treat your dizziness at all?
She says there's nothing you can do for it,
Okay.
except for take that meclizine that I take
Uh-huh.
3 times. I take 3 times a day, but that don't work. So I don't even know why the hell I take it.
Okay. I'm even more concerned about you falling now that you mentioned dizziness. So
Oh, sure. I mean, it's been that way for a year and a half. I mean,
yeah.
it's out of control. I told my wife probably, I don't know, last week or a couple of days ago. I can't remember when the hell I talked to her about it, but I said, I'll bet I'll be in a wheelchair next year.
Corey, have you ever heard of Dalfampridine, the MS walking medicine?
It's known as
No,
Ampera is the brand name.
Oh.
No, I haven't.
For me, it helps and everything, gets balance and strength. The only thing that I don't have against it, but it's kind of difficult sometimes. If you miss a daily dose, you definitely know it. You know what I mean? But like when I take it and I'm walking a little bit now, I'm getting strength and stuff. So
What's the name of it, John?
I'll
Can
put
you
it in
type it
the
in the chat, John, for him?
yeah.
And that's one of the drugs, it's gone generic, but you still have insurance for 6 months, but it's one of the drugs that you can get for a decent price on the Mark Cuban website. So if you have a problem getting it covered later on when you're not on insurance or the insurance doesn't want to pay for it, that is a potential option to use.
Okay, can you use that along with that ocrevus then?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, is that something that you would ask your neurologist about?
Yes.
Hundo.
That is a neurologist's thing. Your normal primary care physician probably wouldn't deal with that medication.
So, I mean, I would ask my neurologist about this, and she's probably going to say no.
Yeah, she tells you don't everything.
Well, you never. Does she? So she's aware when you talked about the dizziness and walking. She just said.
She knows all about everything.
And she says she knows everything else.
But like I said, she just sticks with ocrevus.
Everything you try to do, no.
Yeah, everything I try to do, or I say, what I've heard, or whatever. She's against.
Okay.
That fucking sucks.
Well, I know that we've talked about this before in this chat many a times, and people have to raise your hand. How many people have had to fire their neurologist?
Yeah, my wife's definitely mentioned that she's trying to get a different one.
You're not. Okay. If you don't feel like you're getting the care you need, or you don't feel like it just feels like they're not listening to you, or they're not making you feel, then it might be time to check out a new neurologist.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I had to bitch about tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's so frustrating. I wish that it was a very easy, streamlined, quick, and it's
okay.
It's not.
We'll figure it out.
My recommendation is that you start the process as soon as possible. I don't know if you're eligible to do the process as you're on short-term disability. That's a lawyer question. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
Because it takes a long time for them to. But better for people, it seems to me the people that have problems walking tend to get approved for disability sooner than people that don't have mobility issues, but that's not, I mean.
Yeah, sure.
I can't guarantee that, but that seems to be a trend that I kind of see sometimes.
I gotcha.
Ask for a test done by a neuropsychologist, and they will tell you what's going on in cognition, stuff like that. And when I applied for disability, that was a very important thing to have. It's just one of those 6-hour tests where you're like, okay, now you have to match this and this and circle the bunny, but also, hey, all these numbers in this order, you got to write them down. And right before I'm done, next box, go next. And it's to frustrate you to see what they can do.
Okay.
It really showed a lot of positive things.
And it's also helpful to get a baseline. So when you're down the line, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm really having issues. Then you can have like something you can see, like, oh, you are doing worse, or no, you're not, or
Yeah, sure.
John, did you want to go with what you wanted to talk about tonight?
Sure. Thursday I broke a tooth, and it didn't hurt at all, except for my tongue was rubbing on it all weekend long. I went to the dentist today, first time to a dentist in, pick a number, whatever. And I was a little bit nervous, so I thought they were going to have to pull the tooth today. Doctor's like, I'm just going to sand that down a bit, and when you come for your first appointment next Monday, we'll come up with a plan, figure all that stuff out. He was amazing and hilarious. His office had 2 ramps on them, the good ramp and the pretty okay ramp. Just like some wobbly boards. And they're like, oh, no, don't worry, we're getting that fixed. But the building, it was an old house. So you're like, oh, an old house, there's nothing there. But they have done it to be very accessible. Like I was able to get from my wheelchair to my walker, turn and sit down on the table without any problem. Because I had enough room to maneuver. And yes, I still have the fragment of tooth that fell out. It is on top of my jar of kidney stones.
You're just collecting all sorts of body parts, aren't you?
There is an absurd amount of body parts that are not in my body in my collection. Maybe because I'm sure someone would do something with that on Etsy. I'm just going to put that out there. Someone will do something about it. But I had a regular primary care visit last week, and for everyone that doesn't know, I had a kidney stone removed on April 17th. And it still hurts sometimes to urinate. So doctor and I were talking, and he's like, you know what, there's just some trauma in there, because apparently the doctor said he had to go in and out a few times, which doesn't sound pleasant to hear or to know. But there were times where my pain level was in like a 7. Like 7, not a problem, all day long. And that was adding in that wasn't adding in the usual MS pain. Like, okay, so I'd be at a 3 if I were you, but I'm just in nothing. Like, it's normal. So pain medicine, more fluids, stuff like that, which is good, right? But overall, the doctor's appointment was good. We turned me from a non-stimulant ADHD medication to a stimulant one. And it's still pretty early, so we are trying to figure out how that goes. It's always that.
Which one were you on, and what are they trying?
I was on Stratera.
Okay.
I don't remember the name of the new one because I'm a bad patient.
It's not like a methylphenidate, Adderall, Ritalin.
Let's say it's the first one.
Adderall?
No, I said no Adderall. I'll let you know.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah. So that was good that we did that. I saw my psychiatrist on Monday, and we had really, really bad, guess hold him, because I almost just said we had bad reception during our call, but it's like over the internet, so there's no reception needed. And he said, you know what, I got to make this up to you. Let's talk Wednesday. Awesome. Tomorrow my OT comes, and guess who's a badass? I am. Because guess who can stand up for 4 minutes with his walker?
All right.
Awesome.
That
so
was
great.
our goal. That was our goal for 8 weeks, and we did it in 4.
Woo! Overachiever.
Very nice.
Yeah, I've been able. Okay. So when I say walk, I take 3 steps with my walker. Okay. So I've been able to walk a little bit. Not today. My legs are really tired from the whole, going to the dentist thing. But yeah, forgot what I was saying.
On 3 steps, 30 steps.
Yeah.
They're steps, and they're freaking awesome.
Yeah. and we're ready to start our garden. And someone's going to be on our deck so I can reach in my wheelchair every day.
It's awesome.
Nice.
On Monday, a lady from a place called Papa's Patch or something like that. It's basically like like daycare for disabled people and older people. And I'm like, can they come to the house and do that? So I do have people that come to the house and they'll just like help with chores, like meal prep and stuff like that. But it's just be weird having someone new in the house to get used to what I am like. You know, like just me. You guys know, just me. But that's going to be something new. And big news, 2 weeks from tomorrow, I get to see my favorite band in the entire world and universe, Primus. So I
Oh,
get
okay.
to go see Primus.
Wait, who?
I'm sorry?
Wait, who?
Primus.
Primus.
Oh, Primus. I couldn't understand him.
Sorry.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to this tour. Yeah. Yeah. And
Very cool.
We got the hotel and everything. Melissa's dad is coming tomorrow. Her parents are awesome. I actually sent her mom a Mother's Day card saying, thank you for showing me what family's really like.
Aw, that's
Because in
precious.
case you didn't know, I fired my mom when I was in the hospital. I realized that an ex-girlfriend of mine brought me flowers, and they didn't even care. I'm joking, of course, but not a lot when I say my mom makes Trump's narcissism look kind of okay. All right. When I was diagnosed, she said, well, is that something that I would have done? I don't know. Just trying to find a way. So I unloaded 45 years on her shoulders in 10 minutes. And she said, I don't know what to say. I said, okay, bye. Hung up. I feel like that's what got me out of the hospital. You know? So that part of trauma is kind of in the forefront now, but we're dealing with it in a really good way. At the end of one of our sessions, like 3 weeks ago, I said, oh my God, did I tell you I have a brother? He's like, no. So my mom was his wicked stepmother. And my brother was not allowed to be around because he was from my dad's first marriage. Catholic, by the way, Catholic. So Jeff wasn't allowed to come over and hang out because of that kind of stuff. When I would go see him, he played Dungeons and Dragons and played bass. Guess what his baby brother does? Plays Dungeons and Dragons and plays bass. So I'm writing him a letter. I have his address. I'm going to be like, hey, man, you don't remember me. I don't really remember you, but we're brothers. Let's talk about this. So that's some positive things that are coming out of, instead of a therapist visit, a psychiatrist visit. I've noticed that there is a difference.
There is.
Yeah. And, I just really, really like my guy.
I hope you have a great visit with him tomorrow.
Yeah. And also other John news. I have my Funko Pop collection back here. You can have, you can make your own and like decorate them. Guess who added a fucking wheelchair? So they're like, a wheelchair is now an option.
I was not aware of that.
Yep. A wheelchair is now an option. I'm like, yeah, unless I'm going to order it soon. Like, yeah. It was just really cool to see that. Like, surprised me. Like, holy shit. Like, yay! Yeah.
Are you going to order one then? You'll have to show it to us when you get it.
Yeah. And they do like couples and people do like wedding dresses and stuff. Yeah. We're going to be like, here's our dogs. Here's our tortoise. This is us. Oh, Lena, I've got a pet tortoise. Her name is Banana.
Oh, cute. I have a pet dog. His name is Orca. That's all I have.
We have a. What the hell is Matilda? She's a terrier. Yorkshire Terrier. She's a Yorkie.
Okay.
There we go. And then my other dog, Cal, he's half Chihuahua, and the other half mixed other dogs that were bigger than him. So he weighs 21 pounds, and he's like 2 feet long, but he's a Chihuahua. Through and through.
And a dachshund, maybe?
What's that?
Dogs.
If he's 2 feet long, is he a dachshund? You don't know.
No. He walks like a bulldog, though.
He has the little short, stubby legs and
the
yeah,
chest out.
yeah.
Sounds
Oh,
like a wiener dog.
Kind of, but his legs are like this long. I'll send you pictures of him.
Okay. That's a dachshund. To me, it sounds like a dachshund, which is a wiener dog. They're long and they have little legs.
Yes. We had a basset hound that had 3-inch legs.
Oh,
And she was
and
long.
probably really big ears.
Yes. But she had some other stuff there. I'll send you a picture of Lexi, too. You'd be like, oh, I just wanted to snuggle that dog. But guess what? She does not want to snuggle you.
Okay.
I have a scar from her. I thought about getting tattooed, so I'd never leave.
All right. Well, let's hear from Karen, since Karen has joined us finally. Welcome, Karen. How are you doing tonight?
Well, I haven't been in a while. And I have like the bad news and the good news. I mean, the bad news is I'm declining. I was diagnosed in 2019 with primary progressive multiple sclerosis. Except when I got diagnosed, I came home and I said I got permanent progressive multiple sclerosis, which is a much more appropriate name. It's permanent. Progressive sounds good, but it's not good. It's progressively.
I can see what you're talking about in terminology, because people do get confused with what progressive means.
Well,
Yeah.
progressive sounds positive, or it sounds like the woke people. But I remember coming home because we wrote that little story in the writing group, in the AnCan writing group, about how did you feel when you were first diagnosed. And I remember I came home and a friend who doesn't call me very often called me, and I said, I just got diagnosed with permanent progressive multiple sclerosis. And then I saw what I wrote in the note, and I was like, oh, it didn't say permanent, but it is permanent. And it's so, yeah, I first came to AnCan in 2021 or 2022, I don't remember.
Been at least a couple years.
And I've listened to many people's stories, and I don't want to be a downer to anybody, but it helped me realize what's going on with me, because you could really go into denial. I'm okay. But if you notice,
I thought the wheelchair was new.
well, I've had it, but too bad I have a bag on the back, but it's a really cool color. It's a magenta that they call raspberry beret. So I got this. It was actually offered to me at the end of, what year are we? 2023,
25.
I think. Yeah, so I think at 2023, I had called the high mobility clinic. I just really wanted some more information about a quad cane. And this woman read my chart, because nobody else reads my chart, but a PT from the, I think she was an OT from the high mobility clinic. She said, listen, I want to come out to your house. I want to do it before the end of the year. I think we talked in November, and she made an appointment for like December 9th or something like that. And she came out in the early December in 2023 and said, do you mind opening up your back, because Todd's here with a wheelchair? And I'm like, with a what? A wheelchair? I don't need a wheelchair. She said, for the future. And I sat in the chair. it feels really comfortable. I don't really need a wheelchair. I don't. And it got delivered like January, the very end of January, and it's nobody's job to teach you how to use the wheelchair. It's a power wheelchair. I mean, it's a power. It can go 6-7 miles an hour. You can just you can hurt yourself. You can hurt somebody with it. And Todd, the wheelchair guy, said, "Oh, Medicare doesn't care if you can leave your house." And I happened to have friends that stopped by that day and brought me dinner at just about the same time the chair came. So they were asking questions. And I said, "Can you just see me go down my lift?" Which was new to me because I didn't have a lift. And I have a really steep driveway. So he said, "Medicare doesn't care if you can get down the driveway. They don't care if you can leave the house." And then last year around March, I got on home health care and had to fight with, I feel like I had to fight with all these white guys' names. Kyle, Ryan, except I do love Ryan. I have a Ryan now, but Kyle and Todd. I'm like, what is this? Everybody's a gatekeeper. You can't have this, you can't have that. And it's a $24,000 wheelchair. And I was responsible for 20%, but the MS Society covered the whole thing, that whole 4,000 or 4,500.
Great.
And that's after they covered the lift. I had a used lift and they covered that. But you remember that saga. It took forever to get the lift thing right. Until I had a friend call. I had an advocate and I just called, the owner called and I said, "I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm going to have an advocate." And so that got put in. And so I've had this chair and I probably put on 5 miles in a year, just rolling around my house. It's not very much. It's like, that's a lot of hardware for 5 miles. And I have a neighbor who helps me a lot. Anyway, to make a short story long, he had picked up 30 feet of ramp and he didn't know how to get rid of it. And then I know how to write good Craigslist ads. But he goes, "Now my wife will write the ad." And I'm like, "Well, I don't want to get involved in your marriage, but trust me, I know how to write a good ad." And so I saw the ad she wrote and nobody did anything. And then I called the Center for Independent Living, which is the first. Judy Heumann was one of the founders. It's like it's in Berkeley. I'm in Oakland, California, but it's the really birthplace of the independent living movement. And they were very radical and took over like state buildings and things like that. So I have tried to get help from them. I didn't really find it very useful. I couldn't figure out who does what. But I called, so my neighbor didn't get rid of it, and then he fell, and he didn't have a wrist that worked. So I said, "I'm just going to call John from the Center for Independent Living, who fixed wheelchairs for 25 years. And I just wanted to know, am I going to be able to stay in my house?" I think I called him about 3 years ago, and he came out, and he said, "You don't need a ramp. You should get an elevator." And then I said, "You've been everywhere where people live with wheelchairs. Where can I go?" And he said, and I heard the birds just now. You can hear them. He said, "You hear those birds? You don't want to go anywhere else. You want to stay right here." So I feel the Center for Independent Living they came out for free and gave me that consult. So I got in touch with John and I said, "Hey, my neighbor, do you know anyone who needs a ramp? He wants to get some money for it." He goes, "I know tons of people who need ramps." So then I said, "I have this wheelchair. I don't know how to use it. I can't get down my driveway." So Ryan came out. Me and Ryan are like this. So Ryan came out, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks ago, and he taught me how to get down the driveway. And I can do it, but here's how I have to go down the driveway. It's kind of embarrassing. So the other good news I have is that I have a caregiver. She was here, so I was busy with her, and she's awesome, and we get along great. So that's, the sad news is I need a caregiver. The good news is I found somebody, and she comes Tuesdays and Fridays at 1:00 because Karen needs her beauty rest. And she said, "No, I like coming in the afternoon." So that's good, because I tried other people. They're like, "As long as I'm done by 2." I'm like, by 2? I mean, like, I'm not even ready to see anybody till 1. And that's made a big difference because I shower when she comes. Like she just preps the shower, but before I would like keep the phone near me. I was afraid I'd have to sit in my shower chair, and now I just can stand under the shower. I had my bathtub done with my amazing contractor, so I can step in. It's pretty low. It's like this, so I can step in, and I got handrails all over the place, and I can shower. So those things to give you some independence and freedom is really empowering. It's really empowering. So I had I didn't remember because I got MS. He said, "What you had?" Like Ryan said, "You had what 5 miles on you?" Because I went, "Hey, I went up to 12." He goes, "You mean you doubled? You had 5?" And I didn't remember, and then I did remember. So after he showed me how to do it, I have to go out with escort service. I went a few times, and now I go down the driveway like this, which is a lot better than. And I do feel confident I can get down the driveway. And yeah, so I've been on about 8 or 9 runs. She gets tired. I go, sit down. Let me just go up and down the block. I just want to put miles on it. So now I have 17.5 miles on my wheelchair.
Wow.
From 5.6. And last Friday, we were going to go to the store, and I drove, and it was really hot. And I said, I don't feel good. I'm going to go home. So I saw all these neighbors sitting around, not a lot, just on the way down. I'm like, what are they doing? What's my neighbor doing? And then on the way back, I'm like, there's a neighbor party going on. How come I don't know about it? So when we got back, I decided to leave the door open. And so that was my first Virgin ride last Friday. I just went, I can do this. I can go down the driveway. No one's looking. Got down the driveway, rode down the block, went to the party, ran into some people I didn't know. They were awesome. And I had such a good time. Just such a good time chatting with the neighbors. This new woman, she's from Colombia. And I really love that music. She couldn't believe, oh, you know all the music. And then the next day, I'm like, instead of seeing what's going on in Israel, Palestine, which makes me sick to my stomach, I thought, why don't I just put on some salsa and cumbia? And so I just spent 2 days just hearing good music. And yeah, I just got along with them great too. And then, nobody else asks. And they said, hey, where'd everybody go? And then they said, you want us to walk you home? I said, okay, that would be nice. So I just felt like, wow, I can get out of the confines of my house.
Pretty awesome.
It's
So
pretty,
far
yeah.
you like your new caregiver, your thumbs up to her, you like her?
No, I don't like her. I love her. We had a big blowout a couple of weeks ago, but it was just her. I think her husband was out of town, and she just kind of. But now we just laugh about it because she talked about some client she knows that lives in her family's care home, and she said, "You remind me of him. He's from the Bronx." So as soon as I saw you, you walk like him, you look like him. Because I kind of blew up, and she goes, I never had anybody yell at me. I've never had anybody yell at me. So I just kind of needed to percolate and whatever. And so last Tuesday, she took me to the dentist, and she was wearing my favorite color. And she often comes in scrubs, and it's like, when we go out, I don't really want her to wear scrubs, but what can I do? So she was wearing burgundy scrubs and black pants, and I was going to wear black pants. They said we're going to be twinsies. I'm going to wear my burgundy top. It was just. And we went to the grocery. We did that. We made a few stops, went to the grocery outlet, and some woman just went by and went, she's Tongan. She's a really big woman, and she's Tongan. We don't look alike, but there was just something, I think, just amusing that, we're twinsies. We're just alike. We're just doing that. And then the other day we were wearing green, and we both wore green. So today, it was just at the end of the day, we were twinsies. But yeah, it's really hard to find somebody you could have in your house, in your face, moving things around, trying to be helpful.
Karen, my person starts on Monday.
Can't hear you. Let me turn up the volume.
I
What'd
was
you
just
say?
saying that, I was just saying that my in-home care starts on Monday.
Uh-huh.
So it'll just be a person coming like once a week for 4 hours. I'm gonna get like food prep done, things like that. Is that what your lady does?
Well, you know, when I was looking for people, I had someone else. I had my neighbor's granddaughter I met her when she was 18 and she turned 19 and she had like a busy life. And she was amazing. But she would come only like once a week would have been good, but once every sort of 2 weeks. And I just want more of her. But we got along really well and she's so smart. Like, how could you be 18 and be so smart and snarky like me? You know, she's just had the right thing to say and she can organize stuff. And then I was needing more care and I was just dreading looking for someone. I tried a few different people and I just, by luck, found her name's Pua. Hala Pua. I found her and I interviewed her on a Monday, like 3 weeks ago, and 3 weeks, not ago, but 3 weeks, 3 months ago. And I wasn't sure what to expect. And she took me the next day to an orthotic. That's been a nightmare for a whole year. I still don't have an ankle foot orthotic.
Yeah.
She knows me now. And if you know me, anybody knows me. If I haven't been able to get that done in a year, it's because it can't be done. You know, like it's like my neuro nurse, she's like, Karen, you're just like relentless. You know, you just go for I make sure I get what I need. That's just been a nightmare. And I don't know if that caused more of my decline, not having that kind of support. But part of me is just like it is what it is. Got what I've got going on. So she was with me because we put a certain price on it. But you know, people would say, well, what do you need done? It's like, well, I don't know. What can you do? What can you do? You know, how willing are you to do stuff and what can you do? She likes cleaning, she drives, she has a nice car, she picks me up, she takes me. We went to the orthotist. It was the first time and I had a cough. She packed up my bag. She just would like, she's very proactive and she's like, let's take this, let's do that. So I went into the office and they said, oh, you have someone new. I said, this is my new caregiver. I've known her for an hour and a half. And she sat down next to me in the office and we left there. We got in the car. And I mean, I figured out like in the first 2 hours, I'm like, I'm giving you the top of the, you know, you're worth it. She used to be an LVN or she studied to be an LVN. She's just smart and she's proactive. And some of it is like, I don't need you to clean the house. You know, she says, no, I like to do that. So some of it is it too going, you know, it's worth paying her to do things that make her feel like before she left, she goes, I want to sweep. I'm like, it doesn't really need to be swept. She goes, well, I feel better when I do that. And I'm like, that's worth it. I mean, I'm paying out of pocket, but you need to feel good about your job. Because, you know, I've had other people, they go, well, what do you want done? And they go, well, I can do that. So I'm figuring, I mean, you know, you guys know I'm kind of bossy. So I'm bossy and I'm picky and I want things done my way, but I have to make some leeway. So Annie, my first caregiver, she really helped me just accept that someone's in my house, moving things around. Where are my leopard shorts? They're not in the closet. And she said, well, I put them next to the zebra pants in the drawer. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So just things like that. Or, you know, she doesn't always put stuff away right away, but just learning that it's the benefit of having somebody around who could take care of your needs and prep food. Yeah, so we went to the store. Like I drove this time because it's close by and my walker's in the car. And just picked up some vegetables, came back. She cut them up. She prepped them for me. She just does a lot of things like that. And so Friday night, I went for the first time down the street. And then I'm interviewing a gardener on Sunday. And I wanted to show him. So I said, hey, do you mind moving my walker off the wheelchair? And I went out in the wheelchair. And then I just went back and forth. on the other side of the street. I wanted to put at least a mile on. And then Monday, my wheelchair guru came over to put some handrails in my bathroom and problem solve some mobility stuff. Now, do I get that from the doctor? No. Do I get that from the PT? No. Do I get that from the home health care? No. I have a cough and I have a cold in the winter? No, you can't have any cough syrup. It's dangerous. It's like, I'm 73 years old. Really? I can't have any cough syrup with codeine in it. What do you think I'm going to do? So it just seems like the people that aren't without the license do a whole lot better. Giving me the advice I need. In fact, this year, I didn't even try to access any medical care. I was so disgusted with how screwed up everything is with providers. I mean, even when they're good, they're all like got their head in a box. They can't get out of this box. I watched my primary care provider. She's like co-opted into this horrible system. So the bad news is I'm getting weaker. I'm using a wheelchair. And the good news is I got a wheelchair, and it was good that I got it last year. So I just got a little more familiar with it. And I'm being careful. So Sunday I went out, and then Monday I walked out the wheelchair guy to the car. And then I just, again, went up and down, put a mile on. And then today we came back and she was prepping my stuff. I said, I'm just going to go down the street and see if I can get down the driveway. And I get down there like this. That's not bad. It's really steep and it's bumpy. And yeah, so that's what's going on with me.
Have you got your writing assignment done for next month?
My what?
Have you got your writing assignment done for next month for the AnCan writing class?
Kim, can you send it to me? Because you know what I realized? I was at the class. I conveniently, it was like right about your diagnosis for this time. And I didn't remember it because I'm sick of it. I've written so many things. I don't want to do it. So but then I like what I wrote. It was really all about my heart opening up. And, I didn't want to talk about, and then this happened and that happened. So then I noticed, but I won't remember. Can you send it to my email? Because what happened is
it's just the biggest secret you kept before you had to dispel it. So a secret that you eventually had to tell, but you had to keep it for a while. And then you had to do a writing prompt that you're supposed to email her 5 sentences on your favorite pet, and you're supposed to send a picture too.
But can you send that to me? I'll tell you why. What happened was I really enjoyed the writing group, and I was like totally alert. And I think I sat in my chair for it. And then I'm sure this has never happened to any of you. And then all of a sudden I went, did I fall asleep? And there was a message saying, your session has ended. And I'm like, what did I miss? I mean, it was at the very end. It was just the very end. Nobody noticed that I was snoring or fell asleep.
You were not snoring. I don't know if you were muted or not, but I did not notice any issues. So
you didn't notice? I mean, I didn't remember feeling tired. I didn't remember sleeping, but I went, okay, this time I didn't get the assignment. Okay, I didn't.
Karen, no. I actually fell asleep the client in my internship, my second year of grad school.
Wait, you fell asleep as a client or
in a session with the client? I was being a therapist.
Oh.
And I fell asleep when I was being a therapist. Yeah, that wasn't very good.
Because sometimes you can come to this meeting just reclining, just laying down and do that. My therapist at my health plan, I mean, I met her like 10 years ago, and then, she's been seeing me now the last few years, which is amazing. I'm under the radar. I keep going, she said, nobody said anything. Her specialty is postpartum and some other thing that she met me under like years ago. And she said, nobody's checking my schedule. I'm an easy client, and
right.
Having MS, she's not a medical, but just that's been, But I remember I said, "Oh my goodness, you're pregnant." And she said, "Yeah." And she was trying to stay working as long as she could. And then she told me, so it's funny, my providers tell me things sometimes, like I go, "Why are you telling me this?" I can't believe this. Even my primary care provider, she goes, "Oh, I got so mad at my partner." You know, like, so she said, so she said she didn't fall asleep in front. I think she fainted in front of a client.
Yikes.
Hmm.
That way,
Ouch.
way back in the day, I was a teacher at daytime and a bouncer at nighttime. So sometimes I would like teach, take a little nap, be a bouncer, sleep a little bit, and go teach the next day. And I'm in a classroom full of like 25 kids, but they're all doing like homework quietly, and like the sounds of the pencils, just like I was out. And like they just woke me up at the end of class. I slept for like 25 minutes. And like we didn't do anything bad. We just let you get a nap because we know that you have another job. But yeah, some of those teach, bounce, teach, bounce days, I was a zombie.
They hired somebody like that. I got recruited. I guess I had applied for a different job, and somebody called me from the community college and said, "Oh, are you interested in teaching in the medical assistant program?" So I thought I was coming for an interview. And I'm sitting down there, and they're like, "Okay, there's 5 other teachers," and it was like every day, everybody got a different day, and everybody was like, "Okay, here's your assignment." I'm like, "What? I missed it. I didn't have an interview." And so they would, I guess, trying different people out. And I'm not going to teach if I'm going to be boring, So I have interesting things. I make interactive stuff. I put them in groups and stuff like that. And they said, "Oh, I really like when you did that." First I'm like, "I don't have to do that." And they go, "Oh, I love your class." Or I run into people, or they call me and they say, "I learned so much about this, that, I'll never forget it." And then they hired this guy who worked as a nurse the night shift, and they said he just stands there. And he's like exhausted, and he stands there and he reads from the book. And that's the guy they hired permanently.
Did everyone get a chance to talk before I delve into my stuff? You're
Yes.
on mute, John.
Well,
Rachel's here.
I didn't get a chance to talk, and what I want to know in your stuff is
Oh,
is your performance done? And
yeah, I had was May 1st was my tap recital. Yeah.
it is done.
Yeah.
And did you send us any pictures?
I guess one of my friends took some pictures, but the video won't be released until next month, so I won't be able to watch it.
But we just want the regular pictures, and we just want to see you in your outfit and your
Well,
shoe. Come on, that's what we want to see.
oh, where's my
We want
phone?
to see. We've been waiting months for this.
Yeah.
And were you happy with the performance? And was it all good? And
Well, I thought I made some mistakes, but the people watching me said that they didn't notice anything, so I'll have to.
oh, are we going to see something? Are we going to? Are
Well,
you
they're
going to?
not the greatest photos, but you can
That's
see
okay.
me in the line. Can you see me?
Oh yeah. What? Oh, what? Now wait a minute. What are these costumes? These are very fancy. Oh my gosh.
No, they're just shirts with suspenders and black pants. So
Oh, they
this
look very
one.
good.
Let's see what else. Though
Well,
I look kind of funny because I'm moving, but oh, here's a goofy one.
oh yeah.
There I am.
Oh nice. So was it a great experience, and were you pleased that you did it? And
Oh, I was super pleased that I did it, but man, the day of, I was full of nerves. And it was like I have blanked out on a piano recital before. I've had problems blanking out on recitals before. So I'm like, my brain was like, "You're gonna blank out." I'm like, "No, listen to the music and let muscle memory take over." So it's like you know the steps, but there was a lot of. I was glad we were at the end of the first third, so I didn't have to wait the whole recital to form. So
I couldn't see you in the photo. I couldn't understand where you were in your photo. Can I see it again?
the one when I was with the bunch of the people. Like that one. That's me right there.
And then there was the other one with just like two people.
Well, yeah, I was in the front.
And then
Two
who was
me.
in the audience? Like your friends and family?
Yeah, like my mom and
Or
my
were the dance critics there?
no dance critics. No, everyone was very nice. It was just hard because the makeup you put on is stage make. You put it on really
Oh, right,
heavy.
right.
So when I don't wear makeup hardly ever. So when I put on makeup, it's just like, whoa, this is like incredibly overpowering.
It's a mask, but then the part is like, hey, it's a mask.
Yeah, so that
Well,
was.
I went to get show and tell because I forgot that you have pictures.
Who did you got to move it that way. Okay. Oh yeah. That was back. That was been a couple years. No, that was recent because she just dyed her hair not too long ago.
It was a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
Look who
She
came to
was back.
dinner.
She was back in Oakland or in LA.
She
Yeah.
was nearby. She was in it was funny because I mean I met her in person the first time a couple of years ago. But wait, let's see. But that just she was in
Elizabeth
Walnut.
wasn't with her this time.
No, she was in Walnut Creek. She had done something, and I said, "You have to come to my house." Like, and her boyfriend, he didn't want to go out, so she came over, and it was like we had so much fun. Like we set up the table. She even took a picture of it. I said, she goes, "No, I want to sit outside." So she I think I had cookies and grapes, and she goes, let's set the table. Let's just make it nice. We hung out outside, and then I found a place for us to go have dinner, and I had never been to that place. And then I had to show her the Latino neighborhood. I live really close to this neighborhood that heard me talk about it. I said, let's go down there. And she goes, oh my God, it looks like San Antonio. There's like a whole night market. It's only like a mile away. But it just felt like, oh yeah.
I'm glad you were able to see Hannah again in person. That must have been really fun.
Yeah, this time it was just fun. I mean, it was nice. It was fun the last time, but this time it just felt like, okay, mi casa, su casa, you have to come here.
Someone, I think it was Alexa, told me that Hannah's new ad for I want to say a lapra, but ocrevus is screening or something, and somebody saw it and they saw Hannah on there. Did you guys hear that?
I told
I
you
haven't
I
seen
met.
any ocrevus ads. I hardly
Okay,
ever
I
watch
told
TV.
you that I met my neighbor down the street, and she's from Colombia, and she reminded me of this music. And then also the wheelchair guy, he plays Colombian. I forgot what it's called now, cumbia. But I like salsa, so I just was like, oh, I put on salsa music the next day, and then I know that face, that Hana face, and I see this face and sunglasses. I'm like, I know who that is. And then I see her with her partner. It was this quick. Soy Hannah y elijo ocrevus. And every once in a while it pops in again. Soy Hannah, because it went by so fast, but it's not like, YouTube, you can go back and find it was that quick. And I'm like, oh my God, I know that face. Soy Hannah y elijo ocrevus.
What was your stuff?
Oh, thanks. So I had my dance recital Thursday on the 1st, and then I think starting Wednesday last week, like everything's gone to hell. Like I've had so many different side effects and experiences, and I've realized I'm no longer comfortable sitting, standing, or laying down. And the weird one today, as I was in the shower, and I take a shower every day, and I was in the shower, and suddenly I like this, you know how you like hold, you you put yourself your fingers on something hot and you retract and then you realize what's happened. I go like this and I realized the water on the tops of my feet, the water from the shower was very uncomfortable touching the tops of my feet. I'm like, that's not good. Yeah, that's not good. So, I don't know, and I'm just having a bunch of symptoms, and they're all like I don't know if they're related to each other or not. I don't know if it's my back or MS or both or something completely different, but it has been hell on wheels last
So
week.
wait, these are new symptoms that you hadn't had before?
Yeah, like my knees last week just started really bothering me, like very painful when I stand up and but it's like feels like it's like muscular, like I don't know if I'm holding my body in a way that's bothering my knees. Because like if I feel around my knees, this kind of feels tender. And so I'm like, well, that doesn't feel like that's nerve pain. But yeah, it just like laying down, I can't get comfortable at all because it's like my back and I have calcific tendonitis in my right shoulder. Then it's like my legs, and I've had some sciatica come back. It's like I'm having all these weird sensations in my legs and my feet, and it's just, ugh, it's just been. So you know when you have a bunch of symptoms and you kind of feel like you're going crazy, but you're not crazy, just because your experience is crazy, I guess is the best way to explain it.
Yeah.
I know you guys would understand when I said that. Like you feel crazy because the experience you're going through just is crazy. So it's just like today it was really tough. And so one of my friends who's a reflexologist I see every month, I texted her yesterday like, "Can I see you soon? Like I'm in a lot of pain." And she like, so I saw her this morning, and that did help some, but it's just like I see the PA from the back surgeon next Monday, and I don't know. I mean, the
Did
good
they
news is, go ahead.
go ahead, the good news is
Oh, the good news is my cognition has been great since I stopped the Lunesta medication. The whole, I think
Nice.
I told you that where, Lena, you probably didn't hear. So I've had occasions where my cognition gets so bad I have to go down to like reading 8 to 12-year-old age books, children's books.
Yeah.
And I started the end of last year, it happened. So I'm like, oh, it's MS. And then it didn't go away. And because usually lasts like a month and a half. And this was like going like now in 3 months. I'm like, so I like looked at everything, like, is there something that's changed or something? And I'm like, maybe it's the Lunesta, which is a sleeping medication. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop it. And it was that. But when you read the material about Lunesta, there's nothing in there that would say that. They actually have a little study that go, oh, with people with Alzheimer's actually could be helpful with cognition. So, yeah, but it's just like I'm having pain like all different parts of my body, and I have muscle, I have like nerve pain, and then I have like, it's just really
it's not
frustrating.
it
My
has nothing to do with like the tap dance. Like that's a lot of
No,
um,
that's just 2 minutes in our tap dance compared to like what the high schoolers tap dance, and what our tap dance, ours was very mellow, it was
and then
adult tap class. Yeah.
okay. But you were
I
said
wonder
you
if
were
maybe I did too much that week because I had so much going on that week, but it didn't happen
and
until like,
then with the nerves, like
yeah.
I today just went out for a little bit with the chair because everything was screwy and I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I have some things that interfered with my sleep. But when you have that fatigue, your body's gonna be whack.
Yeah, so I don't know. So it's been frustrating. And then that was a brand new symptom this morning when I took a shower, and it wasn't painful, but it was uncomfortable having the water hit the tops of my feet, which really, both, not just one, both, which really surprised me. So,
Do you have one side of your body that's different than the other?
I mean, years ago I did, but then when you lose sensation on both, you really can't tell. And then you get some back, but it's just, there's definitely lots of different, and I've had in the past when I've had issues with like nerve. I'm like, oh, if you just let it normalize, like wait 6 months, tends to get a little better, and I don't know. So it's just frustrating. So I don't have a comfortable position to be in, and like if I sit and my legs are crossed, then it really starts bothering my knee because I'm putting extra pressure on the one knee, and it's just, I don't know. So Anyway,
I
it's
have a
just
lot of burning sensation in my feet. I've
I'm
had
lucky.
that before, way before I got diagnosed. I just like my feet feel like they're on fire.
Wouldn't
Thankfully,
it
I
be
haven't
great?
had anything that painful. Just I would
It's
say
not
more like
painful, it's
uncomfortable or
uncomfortable.
extreme, like uncomfortable or like a discomfort. Pain was like my back surgery before my back surgery last year, where the pain when I stood up longer than 30 minutes, the pain would shoot up. I had a back fusion last May, Lena.
Wouldn't it be great if MS was the only thing wrong with us?
Yes.
Like, I know that medically I was not ready to get MS.
I guess I'm just trying to think, with all the crap that's going on with my body right now, my cognition is still intact, unlike those 3 months that I was on Lunesta.
Nice.
So
Why was it why was your cognition intact? Why were you taking the Lunas?
because between the MS and the perimenopause, me trying to sleep
Not happening.
is almost
Oh,
impossible. I've really
okay.
struggled. And then also my maternal grandmother and my mother also have had massive issues sleeping when they've got older. And I see how it affects my mom, and I'm like, I I don't want to deal with that. And I found
Okay.
another medication that was helpful, but then I had another side effect, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna take
So here, try it. Okay, I went into menopause like around when I turned 50, and I also had like a lot of personal things that were horrible going on, and it was hard to figure it out. And then, but I always had friends who were a little older, and everybody said, "Oh, it gets better." Well, you can't you can't believe it, but I will tell you, it gets better. So I had like menopause. I would just like be in bed and I'd go, I can't stand it. I just can't stand it. And then I'm a Gemini and I go, well, okay, Karen, you've been through a lot of things in life. What can't you stand? I'm like, I don't know. I just can't stand it. So I can tell you the menopause, and then I remember telling some friends, and they said, "Oh, you're just going through menopause. Why don't you get some tincture of motherwort, like some, airy fairy things, like a tincture of motherwort. Put a few drops under your tongue. Whether it's placebo or not, but it did help, and it did help knowing, like, okay, it's not MS, it's menopause. It's just
Well, yeah, when I had MS, that my sleep got worse, and then perimenopause just threw it. I don't know if you remember
I don't know.
when I was in the hospital for the 2 days post-op, I didn't sleep at all. I was awake solid for over 2.5 days, and then when I got home, I'd sleep very little. So a week after my surgery, the Wednesday after, I actually had delusions, which is very new to
But
me.
it wasn't. Did they give you prednisone or something like that to make you wacko?
No, no, it was just due to lack of sleep. So
Oh,
so I had to go in and get medications and stuff to get me to sleep because I was awake. I could be tired, but I was not sleeping. And then when I saw my PCP, tell her 2 weeks later, like, hey, I got admitted because I had delusions because I didn't sleep. And she looks at me like I'm thinking like, do you think I'm crazy? And she's like looking at me like, she's like, no, you didn't sleep. Duh, you're gonna have delusions. Like, hello, you know.
I think it's
So
menopause. I remember because I was a professional sleeper. I mean, now I have circadian rhythm disorder that apparently goes with the MS, so that's out of whack. But I was a professional sleeper. People go, "What do you mean by that?"
I
I
was
can sleep.
amazing in undergrad.
I
I
can
slept amazing. I
I can
always slept
sleep.
pretty good.
Then, but I'll tell you, when I went to menopause, I remember thinking. I mean, it was a long time ago. It's like 25 years ago. But I remember going, I can see why people go crazy when they can't sleep. So,
It doesn't help. So it doesn't help the fact that before all this crap started happening, I did stop the sleep medication I was on because I'm like, I don't want to deal with this side effect anymore. But and so I've been trying to find, but then all these other weird symptoms started happening. I'm like, I don't think they're related, but I don't know. It's just complicated. There's a lot of things going on, but it's just frustrating because I'm not comfortable anymore, and weird since then they're having weird new symptoms, and I don't know. So it's just frustrating.
that part will get better. The MS, no, but that part, the menopause part, it's totally.
I will admit, when I was younger and women would complain, sorry, John, but when women would complain, I thought they were over exaggerating.
Uh-huh.
I was wrong. I was completely wrong, and I will totally admit that. And some women have a great experience; they don't have really side effects, and there's other women that you're like, "Holy crap, what just happened?" Anyway, I'm in the
Well,
latter.
I wish you'll get what happened with me because, I had symptoms, some I won't even describe, but they were just like, oh my God, what's coming out of my body?
But this,
And
yeah.
but my GYN, she said, oh, and I think I only really had symptoms. Maybe it won't help you to say for 2 years. But after that, she said, oh, good, you went through it quick.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, 'cause it's already been a couple years for me now, I think. Yeah. But my
As
sleep got worse with MS, and then I got really bad when the perimenopause. So yeah.
as a man whose wife is 44 now, I'm just gathering information right now. I'm just soaking all in, honestly, just so I know what works for some people, so I can help some people.
Yeah, I mean, hormones have been helpful in a lot of ways, but I don't want to turn this into a perimenopause talk because this is an MS talk, but um,
and
it's
so what about marijuana? I mean, even though I don't do that, but it's supposed to help with
well,
sleep.
in my state, it's very illegal.
Oh, very illegal.
Yeah, it's not they don't it's not legalized at all. Some CBD oil is okay to some extent, but we are very no, the state of Iowa, marijuana is still very, very illegal. A
I
lot of states around us are now you don't have to go all the way to Colorado. Now I think you can go to Illinois, South Dakota. I'm not sure about Missouri. I don't think.
No, Missouri doesn't.
Yeah.
I think they just, well,
I don't know if Minnesota does anything yet.
Minnesota comes to Michigan.
Come to Michigan? Okay.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
And there
That
are three dispensaries
CBD, the
right
CBD
on.
oil, before I got diagnosed with MS, I had symptoms for years since I was 50. Before I got diagnosed, I had a big fall in June in 2018. I had this big fall and I flipped over and I was at my volunteer job and I flipped my body over and I landed on my back and it's at a music venue and they were just about to open the house and someone said, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No." Like, no, I mean, I thought I, ruptured my back. So I laid there and until I can get up. And then this friend gave me her vape pen because I mean, I have stuff because I play music. People give me stuff. It's California, but I don't really like being I don't like that. I can't, since MS, I mean, I can't even really drink wine. Be, I can't be impaired. But she lent me her vape pen because I had this pain in my back that no matter what I did, it didn't do anything. So I did spend, that was in June. So in July, I did spend a month on my couch with the vape pen and I'd play music and I'd be like, that sounded really cool. Like, well, I sounded really cool. That was like really good. And I think that whole month of just being stoned to just dull the pain, after that, I'm like,
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
I
want to be in
have
trouble.
there is in Iowa you have access to certain things, not marijuana. I think there's some with some THC in it with the CBD oil, but you have to get a special card from your doctor to be like your medical. I don't think they call it marijuana because it's technically not marijuana,
They
but
call it a medical cannabis card or something.
yeah, something like that. So yeah,
In
what was your
Michigan, you
question?
just walk in the door and say hi.
Yeah, I could come in and go and say like, "Hey, is there anything I can get that doesn't require the card?" And just kind of explain like, having all these were symptoms. I have MS. What did this stuff? What is your question, Rick?
It's
You wanted to
not
say?
a question. I
The
have.
comment.
It's two things. The first is I'm going to leave you guys because this is good conversation, and I don't. And you should keep going. I think it's great conversation. But this is the end of my third meeting tonight, so I'm ready. I'm
That
ready
you're
to.
tired.
Yes.
Yeah.
The second thing is that you will see it in, but I want to get this on the recording. Um, you'll see this in all the reminders coming up, but it's that time of year again when we need people to write a testimonial on great nonprofits. Now, some of us have done it. I know who.
And you know who,
and
and
we
you
are
know who hasn't.
right. And we are very grateful. So you can't do it again. But each year, and this is for the sake of the recording, we have to get 10 we have to get 10 new testimonials, and it's that time of year again. I'm going to put it in the chat window so that the link is on our web. If you go to our website and go to testimonials at the top, it takes you right there, and I'm going to put it right into the chat right here.
So can I use my latest quote to you? Just quote myself that I
No, but
sent you a testimonial.
no,
Is that good?
you can't go again. You've gone
I
once.
never went.
You
No, I
never
never did.
went. You did
No,
go years ago. I
no,
remember
you
from
asked me
years
to, but I
ago.
didn't. No, I didn't. You asked me to. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure I
Miss
did.
Karen,
I
I
mean,
assure you.
can you? That's when you said, I know who did it. And I said, and you know who didn't do it.
Oh
That link,
no,
that link doesn't
I'm
work.
sure you did it. Well, if you did it, they'll have they got your number and they won't let you do it again. But if you didn't do it, yes, we love that quote. Yes, yes, Senor
I,
John.
because you
That,
gave me an assignment. I don't take assignments, but since I already just sent you a testimonial, it's like, okay, I can do that.
that link does not work.
It does so.
Does not.
It just came up on my. It just came up on my right on my screen. If you click that link,
It tells me that it's forbidden, and then it says it's in Danish as well.
No,
No.
mine does. They want money though. Does the money go to AnCan or who?
What do you mean they
Okay,
want
so you
money?
want you to click on share your story?
Yes, don't click on donate. I just want you to
Okay,
click
if
on
you click
share your
on
story.
okay, click on share your story. I was
And
just gonna mention, Rick, that this should have been
yes,
Regina's assignment with the writing group.
yes, I know it should have
You
been.
missed out
Well,
on the
no, it will
opportunity.
be. It will be because we just started for this month yesterday, and I've already told. And when I sent it to Alexa, I said, Alexa, this is a perfect assignment for the creative writers. they all need to do it, the creative writers. But anyway,
So how did
I
so
have
they
no idea why
you
that
need
link doesn't
10
work.
new people? And what do you get for it?
we get that seal. You see the seal that says
Oh, a great
24
nonprofit.
top
I'm
rated.
pretty sure I didn't do it because
Well, you'll find out.
well,
And it's
Rick, the
yes.
culture is to do the guilt, and I do feel guilty that I never did it. So I'm pretty sure
Oh,
I never did it.
okay. Well, it's over right now, but we would like you to think about it. And everybody who listens on the recording, if you get something out of what we do at AnCan, like Miss Karen does, and she sent me a wonderful quote, please just say thank you very
Testimony. I
much.
sent you a testimony, so I can use it.
Testimony. All right, guys, listen, take care. Kim, it's lovely to see you. And I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
that you're not doing well, but
Hopefully it's
well,
temporary. It's just when you have symptoms, you're always like, how
I
bad are
know,
they going to get? How long are they going to stay? And is it a permanent or is
I
it
know,
just a
I know.
temporary thing? So it just kind of, and just being in the discomfort, like sleeping and no position is comfortable or
I'm
standing,
sorry.
nothing is comfortable, sitting, nothing is comfortable. So it's just,
I'm
I feel
sorry.
like I was like a year ago before my back surgery where I was really uncomfortable
Yeah,
and I feel like I'm kind of back there again, but it's kind of exploding. So yeah, I
Not
just, yeah.
sleeping will do it, I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't
that
sleep
doesn't
today.
help at all. No.
No, it doesn't. Even like today, I didn't sleep. I had some problems with I'm like, is it just me? It's like every institution I deal with, people don't know what they're doing. They sit in front of computers
oh,
and they
yes.
screw things up, and then you got to unscrew it, and then they blame you for their problems. And so I didn't go to sleep till like 6:30 in the morning. And they called me at 8, and I said, "Don't call me before 11." And then I was awake, but yeah, I'm totally out of sorts.
Well, Lena, I just want to let you know, so we started a writings group a couple months ago. If you're interested in writing at all, Regina from our Sarcoidosis, she's a moderator. She's an author. She's the one that runs it. So
Okay.
Hey guys, I gotta get off of here. I just want to say and have a good night.
good
And
seeing
you
you.
too.
Thank you.
Oh, I
Okay.
forgot to mention our next meeting. Hold on here, guys. Let me look at my phone.
I mean, tell me.
Is in 2 weeks at 1:30 Eastern Time on the 27th on Tuesday.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Did you have anything else, Lena, you wanted to talk about or discuss, or how you
Yeah.
doing?
I have a question, Kim, about your ocrevus. Have you
Yeah.
noticed any kind of improvement with it since you've been on the medication?
So I have been lucky, Lena, that a lot of my symptoms compared to some of our other constituents have been in some ways more mild. Like I have not really been affected by mobility like a lot of other people. My main problems were cognition and fatigue. Those have been my biggest issues with MS. I didn't notice that I got better, but I didn't notice that I got worse. So my husband switched jobs last fall, and the new insurance wanted to take me off of ocrevus because it cost, my where I get it, their sticker price is $150,000, and they don't want to pay for that. And I was trying to tell them, look, I've been on it since 2019, and I haven't had a flare. And every time you have a flare, it causes brain and or spinal cord damage.
Yeah.
So I had to fight for them, and they still want me to do a PA for the other one in 6 months, but they want to start it 3 months early. And I'm like, why are you wasting the doctor's office's time and all these people's time? I still have MS. There's nothing that changed, right?
Right.
So no, I didn't notice an improvement, but I didn't know. I'll back up this thing. So the other medications I was on Rebif and Gilenya, and I had side effects with those. And with ocrevus, I have not noticed any side effects besides the steroid portion that we talked about. With a Rebif, you have the flu-like symptoms for like 6 months. Oh no, those never went away. So I could not deal with the flu-like symptoms all the time. And then with Gilenya, I was like how Alyssa described herself with ocrevus, where she kept getting all these, illnesses and stuff. I had UTIs like it was going out of style. I got the flu. I got pneumonia. Like it was horrible. Like it was my UTIs were so bad. My husband didn't want to touch me because every time he touched me, I got a UTI. He was like scared at
Oh,
one point. Yeah, and then I had a flare with Gilenya where I went blind in my one eye temporarily, and then they took me off of that and put me on ocrevus. So I haven't seen an improvement, but I haven't seen a decline.
yeah.
I had to quit my job 9 years ago, and I never was able to get back to being able to work. Like I work for my parents, but like maybe 3 hours a week. It's very low key. It's very flexible when I go in. So I still don't I don't have the energy to be able to work at a full-time 8 hour a day job, even if I was sitting. Like I tell people, I could do the Walmart greeter for the first day, and the second day start to be, and then by third day I'm like, I can't, and then I have to start laying down and recovering because it's just too much.
It's too much.
So that's how I am limited. But I know that some
I
people
watched quite a few people. Are you going to just start it, Lena?
tomorrow. So start
Tomorrow.
dress for the first time. I
My
do
first
know
And
that
where
people.
where are you? I could play the video, but I missed.
She's
I mean,
nearby you,
I'm in
Karen.
LA.
oh, where?
I'm in Encino, in LA.
Oh, it's not nearby.
Well,
I'm in
it's
the Bay
closer than
Area.
I am. Come
No,
on,
I'm
she's
in the
in the
Bay
same
Area,
state.
right?
No, okay, that's right. Okay.
Right. I mean, I'm in the Bay Area. It's like it's not exactly right.
Yeah, you
No.
Californians dominated tonight. We had 3 Californians on the tonight.
Yeah,
The thing I
but
also had
we're
to tell you
not.
about, Lena, was that some people complain about when they get toward when they're about due for ocrevus, they feel what they call the crap gap, where they feel a lot worse and then they feel better after taking it. I have never experienced that, but I know others that have.
Does it make sense since you were a pharmacist? I mean, it never made sense to me. I thought maybe they were looking forward to the prednisone burst, you know, because you feel it just doesn't make sense. The crap gap, you know, it's like because it doesn't do anything like that, does it?
Bodies are complicated. I can't I can't, and I don't know. Ocrevus was not around when I was still a pharmacist. So any new drugs, I don't know, and I don't have the brain capacity to. I mean, I can research things, but it's all just that my executive functioning with MS, and
Yeah.
really affected a lot of stuff. Like I don't read, I can't read medical and scientific journals anymore. That's just
Look, I can't even do. I mean, I can write. I mean, when I say I can write, Lena, come to the writing group. It's really fun. It's very fun. It's not, you know, like scary writing group. But you know, I know Rick said, "How can you write something for?" Because I sometimes I send him love letters, you know, and he says, "Oh, can you write something for Great Nonprofits?" It's like, no, no, I can't. It's just too much. It's an assignment. And no, I have to wait until it's spontaneous. But I just wrote about yeah, the art and the AnCan and the just that. Anyway, it's a nice thing, but who knows who will read it. But I just when it flows out of me, I like at least I could do is share it with Rick. That's that I appreciate, you
So
know, what I
have you been able to work full time, Lena? Have you had to quit your job, or
I
how have
would
you
work. I can't. So, and I can't drive. So that's kind of a
been?
bummer too. But
Hmm.
and in LA now you can't drive because
my neurologist said you can't. So I said,
what?
Aw.
so it's
Not
okay.
Uh,
even using hand controls?
She said get use hand control. I said no. I refuse.
Okay. Because they weren't on tonight, but we do have people in the group that use hand controls.
Yeah, I
but
just
why did she say you can't drive?
because I have too many spasms on my legs.
Mm.
They're all on my right leg,
Spasms?
on my left leg. So why do you care? My right leg is fine. Just my left leg has issues. But
Wait, what is it? I'm having trouble hearing exactly what you're saying. I don't know why. If it
She's having spasms in her
spasms.
left leg.
Yeah.
So she
in
was
your left
confused
leg.
why the
Oh,
doctor was not okay with her driving when it was not affecting her right leg.
Correct.
oh, because yeah, well, just not that it'll make you feel good, but like my driver's license is my birthday's at the end of the month and I have to go in person and with a walker. I mean, I'm sure it's not I'm going to lose my license.
I
And I
just had a
have
friend do this in Iowa, and when she walked in with her wheelchair, they're like immediately, "Oh, you need to get this form filled out by your doctor," before they would renew her license.
oh, well, I mean, I'm going to use my walker and you know, I
Well,
thought
I've
about
heard people walking with a cane sometimes, depending on the person. They're like, "Hey, you need to have, you're
right,
not
and
yet."
I, you
Yeah.
know, I actually got a 5-year reprieve because I was already kind of using a walker and a cane, and I was a little wobbly 5 years ago in 2020, and my driver's license was coming up, and I made an appointment in, I'm gonna just whatever, I'm gonna say the date, but I made an appointment. I'm gonna just make it up, like
Mhm.
May 9th, and then the DMV said, "Oh, it was 2020, so it's like, oh, we're gonna honor appointments if you have it on like we're opening up on May 13th, something like that." And I said, "Oh, okay." But I was going to El Cerrito, not in Oakland, and then my appointment was the 13th, but they didn't open in El Cerrito until the 15th or something like that. And I was 69, so I didn't have to go in person. I didn't have real ID, and I decided to just go get a passport, so in case I have to go somewhere. But then they just said, okay, since it's COVID, you can renew your license. So I got a 5-year. I didn't even think I'd be around anymore 5 years later, but I mean, I'm not anticipating. And then I made an appointment. I made an appointment. Um, I couldn't find any in May, so I made an appointment like a few days after my birthday. And that office was broken into in Oakland, and they stole all the copper wire, and it's closed down for like months. And they go, okay. I mean, the DMV is always like hell anyway, you know. And then it's like, you know, okay, well now you can, but you can go to any other one. You can go to one in Oakland. We'll honor it. And it's like, and everybody's now flooding. Like, we don't have real ID. We have to go in. So I'm not even. Yeah, that's hard. I mean, that's going to be hard for me too. But I had weakness in my right foot. Like, I started driving two-footed even in 2018. 2019 is when I got diagnosed. But even 2018, 19, I started driving with 2 feet because I couldn't do it. And then I kept thinking my battery's going. But I wound up getting a left foot accelerator. But in your case,
That would be
you
worse
don't need
ever.
2 feet to drive. So yeah, and I wanted to do it registered, but then I don't know, that business closed down and then COVID happened. So I wound up buying one online from somebody in Indiana because you can get them from China. And I got it from someone in Indiana who's just like a real person and answered the phone. And he took over. And so I got the left foot accelerator. Well, it wound up being amazing because I asked this neighbor, I thought, well, if I go to a mechanic, they're not going to want to put it. It doesn't need to be installed. It's portable. It just slides right in. And I thought, well, if I go to a mechanic, they're going to not want to do it. So I have a great neighborhood. And I said, hey, who's that guy who gave you the handrail? I said, who's that guy who did? So I called him up. I thought, I need a guy, someone who's a tinkerer, you know? So he came over and he was interested and he set it up for me, but it just slides in. And, oh my God, that was 2020, it didn't matter. I hardly drove. And then 2021, he did that. And he's been like Mr. Helper. I just call him up and I go, well, what else do you do? He goes, what do you need? And I go, well, you know, my front doorbell doesn't work. And the next day he goes, oh, I got something. I could fix that. The next day, my doorbell rang. And then I told him I need, you know, I showed him my garage and I have a dryer I need hooked up, and you know, I need a little cabinet to fit over like the sink in the garage. And he rings my bell and he stands there with this little cabinet and he goes, I found this over on Whittle Street. What do you think? Like, it's perfect. So he's just like my go-to. So I just have to keep believing that all these horrible things happen, but they bring me other things that I didn't expect. But it is just a cascade of grief. You know, that's thanks to Kim here. She's always reminding me of that. That you just
Yeah, a
keep
lot of us
living
are
in
dealing with
losses.
MS is dealing with grief and your previous self, and then you're like, find your new normal, and then like everything turns around. And I was just looking, Karen, if I had your email address still. Let me go into my Gmail
I'll
account.
send it to you because
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
I'll
going
send
to
you that
remember.
information. And then Lena, if you want to, I'd love to hear from you. If you want to either wait a couple weeks or drop me a note at kim@ancan.org. Let me know how your infusion went,
Oh yeah, for sure.
how you're doing.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I
There
hope
is
you
a
have a
whole.
great day tomorrow. I hope you have a great experience. But yeah, but I've been on it since January 2019. So what's that? That's 6 years now. So I've essentially been in a holding pattern, and I was very, but the insurance company was very like, You're not taking me off of this because I'm stable on it."
Yeah, no,
I
that's
thought you got undiagnosed a while back with something with the lesions.
Well, the neurologist at Mayo was because I wasn't progressing, and he was confused. And he's like, I don't know if you have MS. I'm like, well, you guys diagnosed me like 10 years ago here with MS. So he wanted to run a couple extra tests. So he did the
I mean, he
whole.
didn't know about ocrevus. Like, he didn't think, well, that's stopping the progression.
He thought either I had a low case disease because I'm not progressing, like I'm not, I've been pretty stable, or else I was super somehow me and ocrevus were just tight and is doing like an amazing job, or there's something I'm doing to help prevent the progression. Because I've tried to keep
Listening
my
to
stress
yourself,
levels really low.
trusting
I've
yourself.
learned, Lena, I know you've had this, I've had it since 2012, so I've had it way less than you have. but I had to learn about listening to my body and following my intuition really helps me manage my energy levels and how to live my life. That took me a long time to figure out.
I got a problem with patience, so there's that. And I want it now. And things don't happen like that. I've learned.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm just gonna, I guess, wait and see how it goes tomorrow.
Yeah.
So so once you got the infusion, how did you feel like after like a week or 2 weeks? Did it make a difference?
I didn't know that, you know, like I just had the, you know, I was kind of hyper from the steroid and hard time sleeping for the week.
Yeah.
And if I didn't get myself to sleep that week, then it would take the next following 2 weeks to recover from not sleeping.
Oh, really?
So it was really
What
important for me to get
how
my
much
bed sleep.
how much prednisone do they give you?
They give you solumedrol, methylprednisolone. That's about 250 milligrams IV.
Ah!
Yeah. So you know when you have like a flare and they give you 1,000 milligrams daily for 5 days, it's a quarter. That's 250 milligrams.
Well,
So
how
that's
does that work
still
with like
way
prednisone?
bigger than what?
I was just curious because I had like an asthma thing. I haven't had a cold since COVID, and I got a cold in January, and I get a reactive airway, and I just cannot believe how I didn't get care. Some urgent care docs said, no, you can't have codeine. Well, you can't have that. Well, you can take prednisone. Well, how much should I take? I mean, like, it's true. I was an asthma nurse at one point, and just like you, but how much should I be taking? Well, you could do anything you want. It's like, what?
Yeah. When I was
I
asking the
never
nurse
want to take
practitioner,
prednisone again.
yeah, when I was asking the nurse practitioner in neurology, because I'm like, I'm starting to have low grade headaches, like not enough to take, you know, medication for it, but and she's like, oh yeah, take vitamin B2, like riboflavin, and I'm like, okay, what dose? Just don't tell me because doses on that stuff can vary widely over the counter. And she's like, okay, look up this product and that dose, which is a 400 milligram dose, which is way higher than what normal for B2. So anyway, it
It's
helps.
just
It
it's
works.
amazing, Well, we'll just and then they said, well, anyway, your doctor ordered asthma meds like years ago, and they sent it to me in the mail, and I got $1,000 worth of a 3 month supply of generic something like generic, I forgot, Advair. And I don't really like taking that because I'm a singer and it dries my throat. And it's just, you just sent me $1,000, a 3 month supply of medicine, no explanation about it. Well, your doctor once ordered it. Okay. But, I'm informed. I'm an informed consumer. And I was puzzled by I was like, look at all this stuff that I have. This is insane. It's just insane.
It is scary a lot of times the gaps in healthcare and what they neglect to tell people. And like I was upset when I had my back surgery and they give you oxycodone tablet form. Great. However, that shit will rip up your stomach like no other, and they weren't giving anyone food. I'm like, I refuse to take this unless you give me a snack. And so they give it to me, so I didn't have a problem. But then the second day, I tried the Flexeril, and I wasn't thinking because I've been up all night, I had surgery, I've been in pain, and so I didn't ask for food with the Flexeril, so I barfed it up, and so I barfed up the oxycodone with. So then I was in this massive pain until they could get me recovered, and thankfully they also gave me. I really loved lidocaine patches for my back. I really loved those. Those were helpful for me at night, which are now over the counter, but it was awful because I went through 4 to 6 hours just in agonizing pain, and I was essentially, it was at night, and the 3 nurses working were amazing, but I was essentially like age 5 to 6 years old because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't, rearrange. I couldn't because of the drain in my back. I couldn't readjust in bed because that was too painful. I could do nothing for myself, and I was incredible.
You got muted. You touched something. Kim, you got muted. We can't hear you. Kim, we can't hear you. You got muted. Can you hear us? You're muted.
No, I wasn't muted. It just went bad. I apologize.
No, something okay, I have a little positive thing for you. Lena, I don't have enough experience of ocrevus just listening to people. But I want to just tell you, I used to always get headaches, and I would take Tylenol for codeine for it. And after menopause, I don't get headaches anymore.
Oh,
I'm
that's
trying to
amazing.
give you the good news. Okay, like the headache went
good to hear.
away. The like crazy anxiety that made no sense, the sleepless nights, the sweating, the
Yeah, my mom
yeah.
still gets migraines all the time, and thankfully I do not get migraines. But
So
yeah.
Lena, you were diagnosed like when?
98, you said?
That's correct. Yes.
Jeez, how old were
And
you?
only now
Gotta
they're
be
mentioning
super young.
ocrevus?
23 years old.
Oh,
I was walking, running. I was going to run the marathon. I had plans, but so does someone else. So I'm kind of stuck here.
And when did you have to quit working, Lena?
I quit working after my divorce, so maybe like 7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
should we stop the recording?
I can if you want to. Hold on.